Hey everyone, Sparks back with another God's Victory nikke video, and it's time to check out Chime. So we've waited a long time for Chime. She was heavily involved in the story a year ago, and now we're finally going to get to use her. She is the very loyal knight and assistant to Crown, or the King. Chime is a white knight. She is a rather funny character, which had a very serious story, and a really good story. Another good example. Even if her burst animation is goofy as hell, she has really good writing and character development. So nikke devs continue to impress. Now, are they impressing us with her skills? I don't know. Let's take a look at them. So I will say this. Hey, she fits on one slide. Thank you guys. Every other unit that we've gotten lately has been on like 2 or even 3 slides. It's ridiculous. So thank you for not making her kit overly convoluted. She is the free unit, okay? So as long as you're just doing the things in an anniversary, she'll probably have her first copy be a login reward, and then the next copies will be for like beating the event stages. You'll get her for free. So everybody gets to build Chime. Is she usable? Burst 2 support with a submachine gun, code Iron. Ammo capacity of 120, reload time of 1 second, and deals 8.1% of final attack as damage. All very basic stuff here. If you just took this snapshot, she basically looks like Leader. Even her yellow legs down here kind of look like Leader, although she is a burst 2. Definitely not as good as Leader, okay? So skill 1, Chief Aid, activates when entering battle, affects the King. Wish. Attack goes up 40% of caster's attack continuously. Okay. What are we doing here? So she is a burst 2 support, which means her attack value is going to be relatively low. Okay. Not as low as a defender's, but it's not final attack. So based on her base attack value, she is going to buff a single unit, the King. Now, here's the other thing. Who is the King? Okay, a lot of people online are asking this. We can only assume this is Crown, okay? The thing is, the King isn't actually a thing, okay? So this is a key word that they're putting in here. We just don't know who the King is. There's nothing in this kit that says it makes someone the King, that it gives someone King status or the King buff. Crown is also not ever actually referred to as the King in text anywhere outside of story. So we can only assume this is referring to Crown. If this is referring to Crown, the King, this is pretty bad, because just boosting Crown's attack by 46% of Chime's base attack is just not going to be relevant. It's just not going to be relevant. If somehow this can designate someone as the King, these could be insane buffs. But let's move on. Skill 2, the King's Secretary. Activates when entering full burst, affects the King. Again, daily report, normal attack damage multiplier up 40% for 10 seconds. All right, now that's kind of crazy. So normal attack damage multiplier up 46% is really good. And combined with this buff, that is kind of crazy. But again, if we're only doing this to Crown, Crown doesn't do that damage. Crown is an extremely good unit at this point, probably the best unit in the game. But not because she is doing damage. She is buffing everybody else and doing other crazy stuff. Her personal damage, if you look at the stats after battle, is generally very low. So, yeah. All right. Her burst. Thankfully, she is a 20-second. Thank God. If she was not a 20-second cooldown, that would be really sad. But also, her cooldown kind of isn't that relevant because of what this does here. So, affects all allies. Re-enter burst stage 2. So that means that you're going to need to use 2 stage 2 burst with her. Obviously, Crown is the one intended here, but you have to use another burst stage 2, even if it's not Crown. Because if you re-enter burst stage 2 and you don't have another burst stage 2, then you just don't get to burst with your burst 3 and you never go into full burst, okay? So this is going to function exactly how Viper does with her treasure, as well as how Winter Rupee did for burst stage 1. So max ammo goes up by 20% for 10 seconds. All right, cool, I guess. That's like not that great. And then affects the king, again, loyalty, attack damage goes up 92% for 10 seconds. Okay, that's an insane buff. Attack damage goes up 92% for 10 seconds. Again, what are we doing? What are we trying to do here? This is all buffing the king. And the king has to be crowned. There's no other way. This is nothing else. Again, if the king can be somebody else, this is insanely broken. Because let's say like the king is defined as like your highest attack ally or something, and you have, you know, Black Shadow Scarlet on your team, and you buff Black Shadow Scarlet's attack by 46%, and then give her normal attack damage multiplier by 46%, and then give her attack damage up 92%. That is bananas. Like that would just be way too busted, and she would be like the best buffer of all time. And there's no way they're giving us that unit for free. Okay, it's weird here that they are using this like key definition of affects the king, because again, even though in the story Crown calls herself the king, Chime refers to her as the king, nowhere in any actual stats, no rules text, no skill effects does it ever refer to the king. So it is ambiguous, but I'm 99% sure the king is Crown. Now, this is enough crazy buffs that this could actually make Crown do a legit amount of damage, okay? So it could make Crown's damage go from being like more or less not relevant at all to being quite strong, okay? Now, does that mean Chime is actually going to be really good, and now all of our Crown teams are going to use Chime because Chime is now the best thing to be using with Crown? I don't think so, okay? Because she doesn't do any healing, right? So we still want to be triggering all of Crown's effects with a healer. So, you know, if that's pairing her with Helm or whoever it is we're using, we still want to be doing that, okay? But if we're using a healer to trigger that, okay, let's talk this through. Let's just say we're using Siren as our burst 1. It could be anybody. We're using Siren as our burst 1. We're using Chime, and then Chime needs her other burst 2 to go with her. So then we are going to use Crown. So that's 3 units. Then we're using Helm because we want to make sure we're also triggering Crown. Then that only leaves one more spot, which is going to be our other burst 3, which could be whoever, right? Let's just, I don't know, whatever. It's Alice. We'll say that. Is that good? Probably not, because the amount of damage that we're going to be getting from Crown, even though it's probably going to be good, is probably not more than if we were just using a different burst 3 unit in there. So like Helm could be our off burst 3, and then we use Alice and Black Shadow Scarlet. Or we are intending to burst with Helm, but then we also just use another really strong water DPS because we're trying to do water damage. So we put in Quincy or Summer Dorothy, something like that. You see what I'm saying here? So fun idea. I think it's cool and could make Crown legit, but the opportunity cost is probably not worth it. But hey, we'll see. Again, we'll have to test these things out. Make sure you subscribe so you don't forget that. Yo, all right. I've recorded 3 videos in a row here. It's hard to talk. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video. And make sure you check out my Nayuta skill analysis as well as my Libralio skill analysis as well. And I will be live as soon as the update drops. We'll be doing polls and all the anniversary stuff. It's going to be crazy. I will be streaming live on Twitch and YouTube. Join my Discord in the description below as well so you can get fun stuff with a fun community. All right. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'll catch you guys in the next video and on stream. Peace.